Welcome back to The Mouse and Men, where we explore the grown-up side of Disney. Find us online at themouseandmen.com, where you can find our top 10 things for grown-ups to do in Walt Disney World. While you're there, also go to our social media profiles, all linked on our website. You can also find us on YouTube, where we broadcast the podcast. I'm co-caster Bradley. I'm here with my co-caster Chris. Chris, are you ready to head to the Animal Kingdom? Excuse me.
Yes. No, absolutely, man. Any day is a good day when you plan a perfect day, when you vacay down at Disney World. And so the fact that we're doing Animal Kingdom today, it's one of my least visited parks and one that I just have the most good vibes about. It's just so nice to just be at Animal Kingdom regardless, to hear the birds, to feel like it's one of the few places where it can get really hot. But there's a lot of places, especially kind of when you're walking in, it's shaded, and so you can find some breeze in that Central Florida climate there. So I love Animal Kingdom. And so to define my perfect day, I'm stoked to talk about it.
There was the Magic Kingdom, or Disneyland first, and that kind of set the precedent for Disney theme parks. Then there was Epcot, which was this reimagining of how we can live in cities, the experimental prototype city of tomorrow. That's what Epcot stands for. Then there was Hollywood Studios, which felt a little bit like the Magic Kingdom, but just for Hollywood. Just for the movie industry, because you had these kind of different areas, different lands, different parts of the movie industry kind of thing going on. Animal Kingdom was like Epcot was a total just reimagining of a theme park compared to the Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's a zoo, but it's not. It's just a beautiful park. I'm really excited to dive into what a perfect day would be like at Animal Kingdom, because it is so different from those other three parks in Walt Disney World and all the parks across the world.
You know, really, the only experience that I had the first time that I went to Animal Kingdom with going to zoos was kind of my hometown zoo right outside of my hometown of Prattville, Alabama. We had the Montgomery Zoo. And the Montgomery Zoo, again, went back in the 80s, I'm sure was a pretty good zoo. But it was basically just like concrete walking paths. And then you would just come upon a steel caged area where there would be a snake or a bird or a gorilla or a crocodile or something behind it. But it was that was what it was. And so when I heard that Disney was going to be doing this Animal Kingdom back in probably the mid to late 90s when I first heard about it, I was like, a zoo? At Disney? All right. But I guess if Disney's doing it, it'll probably be really cool. And when I first went in there, like I was still walking to the front gates and I could hear like this music take me over, and it just felt right. And I could hear like, wah, wah, I could hear the birds and everything. And so it was like this immersive experience before I even got through the gate. Yeah. And so when I first got there, it blew me away. And so I'm so happy to be talking about it today.
Well, so let's jump right in.
Yeah.
We always start the night before. Where are you staying in preparation for going to the Animal Kingdom in the morning? So Chris, where are you staying?
Okay, so we're on our number one. I'm already having to give a caveat here because currently the place where I'm staying is not open for guests, which is going to be the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I mean, Animal Kingdom Lodge. I just have always had this idea that how cool would it be to stay there, and not just to stay at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, but on the Savannah view side, where outside of your room, get on your balcony and look outside at giraffes and all these Savannah animals that are just out there. What an amazing thing to have that experience where you can just wake up, see the animals right before you go to sleep. There they are again. So the Animal Kingdom Lodge, although not currently accepting reservations, it would be where I would stay. Again, this is the perfect day, so I can, I can even go back if I need to. But as far as where I want to be, That's where it is. That's where I'm waking up. How about
Well,
you?
I've had friends stay there and text
Mm.
me pictures. They wake up in the morning, they're sipping coffee, and there's a giraffe right outside their window or something.
See, yeah.
That, and I'm like, dang, that is a dream right there.
Totally.
So I thought about Animal Kingdom Lodge. I would love to stay there. I have not. I've visited. I've gone through the lobby and kind of checked out stuff, but not stayed there. I thought, okay, in the same area is a place that I've stayed twice. Chris, I know you've stayed there as well. This is probably one of the less Disney-fied hotels on property, partly because it is a convention center hotel. It's got a big convention center there. This is Coronado Springs. This Coronado Springs just got Grand Destino Tower, which is a new hotel on that resort property. But like I said, it's got less of the Disney like movie IP in the rooms. So
Totally.
whereas, you in other hotels you may get a Little Mermaid room or a Moana room or Peter Pan room. You're not going to get that here. You'll still have plenty of the Mickey silhouette, hidden Mickeys around, but it'll feel more or less Disney-fied, I'd say. But that's where I'm staying, and just a short bus ride or car ride over to the Animal Kingdom from there.
That was that holds the distinction of being the first place that my kids ever stayed, because the first time that they ever visited was when you and I were working together years back, and our company had a convention there, and so that is that was the first memory of Disney for my family, and so I love that choice so much. There was just something about, I couldn't pass up the idea of waking up, just like you said, and sipping coffee while giraffes came and tried to take my Danish away from me. That's at least my dream in the perfect day situation.
You know what? We may have to do this next week. We ought to just review that trip because a lot of crazy things happened on that trip, but also what's it like attending a convention at Walt Disney World, which is a cool little segment as well. So
well said. Yeah.
Anyways, okay. You're waking up at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'm waking up at Coronado Springs. Now it's time for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing, Chris?
I'm going to eat a lot today on my perfect day, as I usually do. No day is perfect without me feeling a little bit guilty with how many calories I've stuffed into my body. But
in a perfect day, those calories don't count.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe they don't even exist. Right. Yes, I like the way you're going. But I'm going to start off a little lighter today. Usually I like a character breakfast if I'm at a Disney park with a buffet kind of thing. But today I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going over to the Yak and Yeti, and I'm going to get one of their famous breakfast bowls and maybe a yogurt parfait just to kind of keep me filled up and moving throughout the day. So I'm going to get a breakfast bowl just so I can almost eat on the go. And once that's done, then I will pull my parfait that I purchased, put in my backpack. Now I pull that out and kind of snack on that as the morning goes on. But I feel like that'd be a nice filling breakfast, but not overstuffing myself, so then I can go enjoy some of these rides that I'm going to be doing throughout the day. What about you?
Me,
where are you eating breakfast?
Of the four parks, this may be the first time that we've said, okay, yeah, this is where we're going first, or this is where we're going for this thing. So I will meet you at the Yak and Yeti. Yes, well, I mean, there's a Starbucks in the Animal Kingdom, so you can go get, whatever the little Danishes or whatever. But I love their breakfast bowl options, breakfast options at the Yak and Yeti local food cafes. So,
just good.
I'll meet you there, and then I'll tell you where I'm going after that.
Yes, please do.
My must ride, it's not really a ride, is the Maharaja Jungle Trek. Self-guided. You can see tigers. You can see gorillas, monkeys, birds. You can see all sorts of animals. But that's why I'm going to the animal kingdom. It's because I want to see animals. Where can I see animals? I can see it on the safari as well, but I like being able to move at my own pace.
Yeah.
Stay and watch for a few minutes if I want. And Maharaja gives me that option.
Dude, I love that. I went a little different with my must ride. And I kind of threw out two, because one was something that I haven't even been on before, but just the idea of the Flight of Passage is I can't wait. I am like just thinking about the fact that I haven't been there. I like, what kind of Disney fan are you that you have not ridden this Flight of Passage after all of these years that it's been open now? I mean, it's probably what, 5-6 years at this point that it's been open, and I've still yet to be there. So that's yeah. So that's where I would love to be. And that's definitely a must ride because I haven't done it before. But I also wanted to just tip the cap to one of my favorite rides in all of Disney, which is Expedition Everest. It's one that again, it's kind of like Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios. It's like, to me, I feel like a day at Animal Kingdom would be incomplete if I didn't get on Expedition Everest and get a little nervous that the Yeti is finally going to get me.
Yeah, Yeti, whether it's working or not, just get a strobe light, and that'll make it look
even that
enough.
Shadow of the Yeti is enough to give me anxiety. So definitely got to do Expedition Everest.
No, I will say Flight of Passage. This is the single thing that makes me excited about Galaxy's Edge. Not being a Star Wars fan is just what they've done with excuse me, with immersion in in an attraction. So really excited to get over to Galaxy's Edge because of Flight of Passage and Expedition Everest. Fantastic coaster.
Totally.
Thrills. Just love them. And then it goes backwards. So what can't you love about a roller coaster that goes backwards?
I would say that if we had a full functioning Yeti, that would just make that experience that much more. But it is what it is. So not gonna slight it for the fact that they couldn't get that animatronic to work. Again, I can feel that he's there, even if I can't see that he's there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because it broke down really soon after opening. So I don't think I've ever seen it working, even though I was there the same year that it opened. I mean, it opened Earth Day, I want to say 1998.
I feel like you're right, yeah.
And I remember going into the Animal Kingdom the same summer that it opened and riding Expedition Everest. But I want to say the Yeti was already broken by then.
Yeah, I have a memory of riding it early. Within that probably the first 12 to 18 months that it was open is when I visited. And I feel like that I was there and it was functioning, but it also could just be a false memory because I've seen so many like ride through videos on YouTube at this point that I can't remember if it's my memory or someone else's memory that's been implanted into my head from watching too much YouTube over the years.
Well, and at that point, we didn't know that it wasn't working right. Internet was just becoming popular in homes. So we didn't know that, this Yeti's supposed to pop out at us. The strobe light was all we needed. So Chris, after you've ridden Flight of Passage, you're just going to be in awe. Then you'll sneak over to Expedition Everest. It's time for lunch. Absolutely. Where are you going for lunch?
Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm visiting a place for lunch that's a bit of nostalgia for me, which is the Flame Tree Barbecue spot.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It was one of the first things that I remember eating at Animal Kingdom, and it was so good that we just go back every time. And so it's like it's a must do in the same way that the cantina in the Mexico Pavilion is a must lunch for me every time I go to Epcot. Also, the Flame Tree Barbecue is a must lunch for me when I'm at Animal Kingdom. So probably get the ribs and chicken combo, if I remember correctly. I remember one time, I think that they had like a Coca-Cola barbecue, which was really good too. But I'm going to go with ribs and chicken combo at Flame Tree Barbecue. What about you, sir?
So I'll say this. I picked Flame Tree Barbecue as well because I thought it wouldn't be appropriate to eat at Yak and Yeti twice or even thrice in one day.
Oh, this is awesome.
So look, I love you. I had breakfast with you. So I may have to go back to the Yak and Yeti, the full experience, not just the the local food cafes, but go back to the Yak and Yeti for lunch.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from this is to make it a perfect day, we can't have too much Chris interjecting himself into the perfect Animal Kingdom situation. I get it. I'm the same way. If I could run away from myself, I would. But I would totally not blame you if you went back to Yak and Yeti for lunch too.
Well, look, this is my perfect day. It's not your perfect day.
True. Yeah. And again, I'm agreeing with you. I think that a Bradley perfect day would have a little bit of Chris, but not too much Chris.
Right. Although I gotta say, drinking around the world at Epcot with Chris Murphy is a good day. Any day you can do that, it is a near perfect day. Whether it's 100 degrees, whether it's below zero, doesn't matter. Whether it's raining or the sun is shining, doesn't matter. Drinking around the world with Epcot. Maybe I've been drinking around the world already this morning. Drinking around the world with Chris at Epcot is going to be a near perfect day. So
I tell you, the experience, especially when you're trying to cram in the last couple of pavilions and those drinks, by the time you clock out and you've done the thing, you've got that endorphin rush come in, but you've also got all that alcohol. I'm jamming. I'm doing all sorts of dances in the middle of Epcot. So yeah, I'll do it again right now.
Right. I'm just glad the cameras quit rolling once we left the park because that's when it all hit.
They caught up. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so now that we've eaten lunch.
Hold on. With your lunch though, do you have a specific item that you'd like to get at either Flame Tree Barbecue or the Yak and Yeti?
Don't make me pick.
Oh, yeah, I won't make you pick.
Because here's something, especially with places that have a little bit larger menu. One trick that I've done, and Chris, I think you've seen me do this on trips together. I'll look at a menu. I don't read the whole thing. I almost never read the whole thing because I pull it out and I just jump to entrees or, sometimes they've got a seafood section separate from entrees or a pasta section. It's like, what am I in the mood for? You know what? I'm really hankering seafood, so I'll go there. Or I'm really in the mood for pasta, I'll go there. But I'll just head to entrees generally. The first thing I see that looks good, that's what I'm getting. I close the menu. I quit looking because, well, I don't know. I think I've got, like a fifth sense for this thing. But just find something that sounds good and quit looking because you're just going to put yourself in more turmoil than necessary when you keep reading after you've already said, oh, that looks good. I should get that. So I also like to try different things on the menu. So don't make me pick.
I know. I've got the opposite issue. I get overwhelmed by all the options. If I go to somewhere like a Cheesecake Factory where there's like 45 pages worth of entrees, it takes me half of the meal or half the time that I'm there deciding what I eat. And then the other half, while I'm waiting for the entree to arrive, I'm regretting it because there was way too many other choices that I should have picked that I didn't. So I like your idea better, and I need to choose that more.
Yeah. Well, sometimes my wife will say, should I get this or this? And I'll look at them and say, get that one, because I'm just having to make a choice between two options, and I've already made my choice. I know what I'm getting. It's not
Right.
it's not either one of those. Or
Hey,
if
there's
it
a
is
side
one of those,
business.
I'll say, well, I'm getting this. You should get that other one, and we can split it. So
My wife and I, we've turned into that couple too, where we're always splitting stuff or getting two, but we take the other one home for later or whatever. But hey,
which
this
is
could
a
be a side
fantastic
business
thing
for
to
you.
do at Disney because the portions are so big. So
That's true.
get something and split it. If you know, if everybody wants chicken fingers, great. But get a couple things and everybody can try a little bit of it and everybody will be happy.
I love that. Yeah. I was just going to say, you've got another side business on your hands where you can help other people make their decisions for them. It's like you move down to Orlando and just say, hey, I've got a season pass. I'll just join you there and go experience it all. And I'll make sure that you don't have to make a decision at all.
Yeah. I'll just go table to table. Are you having trouble making a decision? Here, let me make it for you. Yeah.
Give them business cards and say bradleychooses.com.
Exactly. Pretty soon I'll have a separate line you can just text. Just text me a picture of the menu and I'll tell you exactly what you should get.
Right. Well, speaking of choices, I know that we had a good breakfast. We had a good lunch. We've had our must ride. What about a low key experience for you inside Animal Kingdom?
So, look, we're at Animal Kingdom. It's about animals. So I'm headed to the back of the park to Rafiki's Planet Watch. What's cool is there are windows where you can see into some of the offices or I guess examination rooms where vets are examining animals right there.
That's cool.
In Animal Kingdom. But you can also learn about what they do for conservation, for to help take care of the animals there. It's a cool little place, especially for if you've got little ones who are interested in animals. My son just freaks out in a good way whenever he sees dogs. I think he's going to hyperventilate every time, but he's really excited. I've got a niece who just loves animals. They kind of live in rural Georgia, and they're always finding kittens or lizards or baby birds, and she's all about them. So
that's awesome.
That's someplace I'd want to take them and introduce them to, okay, if you really love animals, here's some things that we as humans do to take care of animals. Really cool experience back there at Rafiki's Planet Watch.
That's great. And kind of banking on what you said, if I look back at all my perfect days so far, again, this is the fourth one that we've done, rounding out our experiences in the Walt Disney World parks. Usually it's about people watching. I love to just, again, apparently I'm an old man getting older every day because I just love to sit on a bench and just watch people. And that's some of my favorite things to do, especially at a place that is population dense as a Disney. But again, like you said, Animal Kingdom is all about watching the animals. And so I'm going to flip that a little bit and I'm going to head to the safaris, the Kilimanjaro safaris.
Yeah.
And just, again, I like walking and getting my step goal while I'm also looking at the animals. And so what you mentioned earlier for your must do, it's one of those that I don't want to leave without having done. But as far as a low key, I enjoy the fact that I can sit in those vehicles and there's usually a little breeze and I can, the safari guide will kind of do some of the work for me of pointing out where the things are. And so it's just an enjoyable, relaxing experience that I always have to do if I'm in Animal Kingdom, but it is definitely a low key experience. That probably second to just being in the line queue for Dinosaur, because it is such nice air conditioning in that room that sometimes I just enjoy being in there because I can just cool off from the heat of the day.
AC is not a bad place to have your low-key moment for the day because probably more than any other park, you're outside at Animal Kingdom. And I will say something that's really cool is going on that safari, but before you go on the safari, doing research into how that whole safari is laid out because it looks like the lions are right there. They could easily jump into the car. That's not the case. There are all these barriers that are hidden based on forced perspective, based on you can't see this huge ravine that they can't jump over that's separating you, that's basically acting as a fence. But
It's fascinating.
in some of that they cover in the magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom on Disney Plus, but also just find that online. You can just kind of look up the Kilimanjaro safaris and how they shaped that land, because also you think those lions could go attack those giraffes right over there.
Yeah.
Not so fast, my friend. So that's also just a cool thing to go and explore, even with your kids, before you go down to Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great tip.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you go first for the third time. We're going to dinner. Where are you going? And I really hope it's not what I picked, because I think I took a leap of faith. Chris, where are you going?
All right. So for me, dinner, I'm going to Tusker House. I heard that they've got this buffet there that, like, in the morning you can do character breakfast and buffet and doing all that. But I love the idea from everything from just the immersive experience of being there. It's one of my favorite Imagineer versions of how to make a restaurant feel like it's in the environment of the land that they're currently in all of Walt Disney World. I just think that they have done such a wonderful job of decorating it and making you feel like that you're in maybe some trading post in Africa or something like that. So going to Tusker House, but then also being able to sample some cuisine that me and my family are not used to, but they're a good balance of more authentic cuisine from the continent of Africa. I know that must be a huge undertaking to figure out what's there, but then also some other more simple options. Again, for those people who just want some chicken fingers and stuff, you can have that feel as well. So the variety, again, a perfect day at Disney is with me and my family. And so to give everybody variety, but the ability to, like, we have been walking for hours all day long. And so we need some nourishment. I think it would just be a good place to recoup all of that energy that was lost from walking around in the hot sun all day. So with that, I'm going to Tusker House and I'm going to sample a little bit of everything. What about you?
Good. I did not pick Tusker House, though that sounds really good.
Yeah.
But like you said, long, hot day, doing a lot of walking. I am headed to the Nomad Lounge, because as you can probably hear my son crying in the background, at that point in the day, mommy and daddy probably need to unwind a little bit, need some AC, maybe a nice cocktail or two. But,
well said.
So you can get these small plates. It's basically big appetizers. Get a couple of those to share. Kids can also build their own entree, so they get to pick their main dish and then pick two sides. Real cool. Easy. So it's built to house families, to serve families like that, over at the Nomad Lounge. But that's where I'm headed for dinner, because you know what? Sometimes after a long hot day, I don't want to eat a whole lot. Maybe just want something cold and refreshing and some AC. Just got to have me some AC.
Good point. Yeah, I like that. I think that sometimes when I am planning a Disney vacation, I almost plan those larger meals to be something very special, like a character meal that you can't get anywhere else. And so that is done often where there's a buffet or something like that. So you're going to stuff your gills, sort of thing. But now that I'm thinking about it, usually what I do is I eat lighter when I'm in the parks. And then those days where I'm just hanging out around the pool, that's when I kind of overdo it and then go to a seafood buffet or something like that on those days where it's a little bit more low key, or at least it's not walking in the park all day. So that's a good point, that maybe I need to reconsider my perfect day options here. But anyway, I've already made my
if it's your
choice.
perfect
So I'm
day,
gonna
the
stick with it for
calories
now.
don't count, and you're not going to feel overstuffed. So
That I like it.
feel free to eat at the Yak and Yeti 3 times. That's perfectly acceptable.
Deal. So we're going perfect day, but it's also kind of like a fantastical day or a fantasy day too. That like the calories don't matter. If you've eaten too much and then you go ride Expedition Everest, you're not going to get a stomach ache or anything like that because it's the perfect day. I like it.
Well, just like Whose Line Is It Anyways? Everything tastes great and the calories don't matter. So, okay, so we're about to wind down our day, and
It's already sad.
Well, I mean, one thing we gotta do, we gotta go shopping. We gotta have some sort of souvenir to remind us of our perfect day. So, Chris, what kind of a souvenir are you going home with after visiting Animal Kingdom?
You know, I am so excited about this. I'm not experienced this in person, but when I heard that you can get a personalized Navi figurine where they scan your face and then you can design, it's like they scan your face and then they morph it into a Navi character from Avatar. And then you can also say that what color eyes do you have or the striping on the Navi body. I love the idea that they will like scan me and then put me into a Navi character that then I can kind of customize and then buy action figurine kind of like weapons and clothing and all that kind of stuff. How cool would that be to say like, this is me. If I was in the movie, this is what I would look like. And so the Navi figurine from, what is it called? It's at Wind Traders that you can get that at. So that just feels like, especially I'm going to experience the Avatar land for the first time. And I walk away being able to show people that this is what I look like if I was in that world. That just sounds perfect to me. So the Navi figurine that's customizable to look like me is where I'm going. What about you?
I love it. That reminds me, you could also get one of those banshees that sits on your shoulder. That I think they match you up with the correct banshee, just like they do in Pandora. The movie, you get matched up with a banshee.
That's cool.
That really, I guess, harnesses the same spirit or something. But I'm going with something either, and I've probably bought some of this stuff in the past, like Explorer Mickey or Explorer Minnie.
Oh, okay.
Just that. I mean, it's a little bit of kind of an Australian outback outfit kind of thing.
They usually have a hat with almost like a cowboy hat, but one side's kind of curled up. Yes.
Yep. Something like that. Or I also just something, because sometimes I just want something that's talking about conservation, taking care of animals, something like that. So maybe just something like that, or just donating to something like the Arbor Day Foundation. Not that you can necessarily do that in the Animal Kingdom, but something like that to help, I don't know, plant a tree. But my souvenir for Animal Kingdom is going to be a lot different than the other parks, because I feel like after a day at the Animal Kingdom, I want to give back to nature rather than get a stuffed animal. But
love that.
That Navi that kind of looks like me, I think you're selling me on it. So
Seems
maybe I've got a new souvenir. Well,
hey, we can meet up there since we didn't get to eat lunch together. I'm just looking for more time to spend with Bradley. So meet me at Wind Traders, and then we'll do that experience together too.
All right. Well, okay. So after we've gotten our souvenirs, we should meet up for snacks. So Chris, if I'm meeting up with you, where are we going for snacks?
Okay. I am going to bless you. I'm going to Trilobites. They have a buffalo chicken chip dish that's basically like nachos, but instead of corn tortillas, they use like house-made potato chips smothered in like ranch and blue cheese with chicken on the top, and just with flavored buffalo style. So there's a buffalo chicken chip snack that they have at Trilobites that I cannot wait to sink my teeth into. And I was close. Well, you know what? I will say what I was close to saying, because just in case I'm taking your top choice. But that's definitely where I'm going. I was going to go more sweet than savory. But when I remembered the buffalo chicken chips, I couldn't pass that up. So what about you? What are you doing for a snack?
Well, you had me at buffalo because we used to make an annual drive to Rochester, New York, and we would have to go through Buffalo, New York. And we would always have to stop, because we're in Buffalo, for buffalo wings. And it was delicious. Got to, really enjoy some true buffalo sauce. But like you were alluding to, your second choice, I am going sweet, because I don't know why the days just seem hotter in Animal Kingdom, and I need to cool down. So I apologize if I butcher this name. Anandapur ice cream truck. Give me some ice cream, whether it's a float. Who cares? Just give me something cold. And then I can kind of keep walking around, people watching, animal watching, enjoying the day as the sun goes down. And I'll tell you where I'm going to head as the sun goes down. It's this land right behind me in my background. It's Pandora, because Pandora is fantastic in the daytime. I've been once, and I got there. Sun was up, rode Navi River journey, came out. It was starting to get dark. Sun was just setting, and everything's really just starting to come alive with these colors. And then we went and rode Flight of Passage, and I do recommend Navi River before Flight of Passage. It just
good,
just because it sets the mood. It really gets you engulfed in Pandora. But then I come out, and the lights, everything's just glowing, and it's fantastic. I could stay there for hours. So I'm going to wrap my day in my favorite area of Animal Kingdom, which is the world of Avatar, the world of Pandora.
All right, so I know that you feel like I'm stalking you, because every time you go to a restaurant, I'm there. Every time you walk into a place to go see an animal, I've got binoculars and I'm staring at you instead of the animal. So I apologize, but that's also where I'm going to end my day too. And I'm going there based on the fact that you raved about the world of Pandora at night so much that it almost makes me more excited than riding the Navi River voyage or the Flight of Passage. That just how that world comes alive with the floating rocks and the phosphorescent or iridescent. I can't remember the name. The glowing plant life and all that. Like I'm so stoked for that. But that's absolutely how I'm ending my day too. Because it used to be that by the time the sun was going down in Animal Kingdom, they were shutting it down. That there was not a lot to do once dusk hit. But now with the world of Pandora or the world of Avatar, I always forget which one it's called. But that it made it to where it's a must see evening experience within Disney World. So that's how I'm wrapping it up too.
Well, and as you're heading out of the park, and I hope they're still doing this. They may not be because of limitations with COVID. But when I was there, I guess it was just over 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, the Tree of Life, as you're walking past the Tree of Life, it's lit up at night, which is very nice. But then you start to hear the music change a little bit, and it highlights one specific animal carved into the trunk of the tree.
Yeah.
And then it proceeds with projection to tell a story without words, just projected there on the tree. That you've probably seen projections on Cinderella Castle in Magic Kingdom. it's the same type of thing, but it's really awesome. And I just wanted to stand there and watch until they kicked me out of the park. But my wife was tired. She said, "All right, let's go." We weren't staying on property. We were staying over in Tampa, so we had to drive a ways back to our hotel.
Yeah.
And she was ready to get back. So, really cool. I don't know how long it goes. I don't know if they're still doing it right now. That is a fun way to truly end your evening at Animal Kingdom, is right there watching the Tree of Life.
It's see, that's one of those things where, because I don't live down in the Orlando area and I don't get to go to Disney as often as I would like, I have missed some of those experiences because, in the past, I don't know, almost 15 years, I've had a little one in tow. They're crying, and then the parade's over and we got to get out of here, or we got to get out of here before the parade starts so you can miss all the crowds. And so some of those experiences that are just nice, like what you're saying about the Tree of Life there in Animal Kingdom, I would love to just be able to, I'm not going anywhere for an hour. I'm just going to stare at this tree and see what happens, to see how often the story is retold over and over. But I'm just going to enjoy this moment. Those are the moments that I'm looking forward to as I get a little older. And my kids will probably be like, "Dad, I love you, but I'm going to go ride all these coasters while you sit here on this bench and watch people," kind of thing. That I'm looking forward to that phase, that season of life, because I haven't been able to soak those up as much as possible, or as much as I would like to. So very, very good point. And again, I feel like every time we sit down and do one of these episodes, I'm taking notes on what Bradley would do and think "Oh, I would do that differently, but now I want to try it Bradley's way because it sounds so cool." So thank you again for your expertise and your inspiration on teaching me how to more effectively enjoy all the parks.
Well, I'm just glad that I know that I'm eating correctly, because Chris Murphy is telling me that I'm going to the right places. But I gotta say, it is a blast going through the parks with you, whether it's in person or virtually like this. I'm just like you. I'm learning. I'm being sold on a different experience, because I've had a different experience growing up, and you've got the things that are nostalgic to you that you love. I've got mine, and sometimes, you just got to order something different off the menu. So, as that kind of concludes our perfect day at Animal Kingdom, let's get into this week's segment of plussing. Plussing. So we're going to stay in the parks for this. This is the Wilderness Explorers, I guess you'd call it attraction, in the Animal Kingdom. What this is,
it's almost like a quest.
It is a quest. It's much bigger than what the Pirate Adventures in Magic Kingdom or Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. I guess it's more kin to your World Passport in Epcot. You basically get a passport near the entrance to Animal Kingdom, and what you have to do is go around to different Wilderness Explorer stations. There's a cast member there who will tell you about different animals, and you get to learn about different animals and how to care for them. And as you go along, as you complete these different tasks as well, these challenges they give you, you earn badges. What's great is I'm sure you can do it all in one day, but it's really tough. So not only is it fun for you and your kids, or just you, forget the kids, but also it's got a repeatability factor because you don't have to knock it all out at once. You can come back a year, 2 years, 5 years later and finish your passport, finish your little booklet, and earn those badges. So this week's plussing is the Wilderness Explorers inside the Animal Kingdom.
Now, I'd say my kids were about 6, 8 years old, somewhere around in that time frame, the last time that we did the Wilderness Explorers, and they loved it. I mean, for 6 to 8 years old, it is just right up their alley. But I found that, and I was telling you this a little bit before we got started today, that I could see that my kids' interest was waning a little bit, only because they had these rides that they wanted to go ride. And again, I feel like that the Wilderness Explorers quest is something that you could do, especially if you're going to be spending multiple days in multiple parks, to do that, or the passport around the world at Epcot, or the pirate adventure in or the Magic Kingdom. But what I found was I was trying to be the mature adult back, and so they would start learning about an animal, and I'm like, okay, kids, you stand right there, and I'm going to be behind it just to make sure that you're acting okay. And so I'm there, but I'm starting to get interested in all these explanations. And so when the kids start listening less, I'm like, well, we got to go to do the next one, because like secretly I found myself enjoying it so much that I wanted to keep doing it, even when my kids are like, I want to go ride the roller coaster. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to get to the roller coaster, but let's go find out about the kazoo, or the yak, or whatever it may be. And so I found myself as the adult trying to act like I was just like making sure that they were okay, but secretly I was learning too. So it's good for the kids, or the kids and all of us.
Right. Disney is fantastic at their education. Or I mean, their edutainment, excuse me, the education, but taught in an entertaining way.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's really Animal Kingdom in a nutshell, is edutainment, education about animals and the planet. Chris, I've loved this travel around the Animal Kingdom with you today. Got to make this perfect day happen. If we're there at the same time, I'm going to see you about half the day, even if we're not doing the whole perfect day together, just because anytime it's time to eat, we'll be at the same place pretty much.
I'm stalking Bradley. That's exactly right.
Well, I've got to stalk you at some point too. So, whoever gets there first is the one being stalked.
Good deal.
But let us know what your perfect day looks like at Animal Kingdom. Yeah. You can email us podcast@themouseandmen.com, or just go to our website, themouseandmen.com, where you can also find our top 10 things for grown-ups to do at Walt Disney World. Message us right there. Contact us. Let us know what your perfect day would look like, or let us know through social media. You can find all those links on our website. Plus, you can always just leave a comment on the videos on YouTube where we broadcast the podcast. And this park, I'd say the Magic Kingdom is kind of about childhood fantasies, imagining a world that isn't. But Animal Kingdom is about imagining a world that could be, and that isn't. I mean, Avatar, Pandora is a little far-fetched, but we can still live in harmony with nature and with animals. And all that happens if you don't grow up too fast.
But it also happens when you keep exploring. I love our 2-second pause that we do every week. We just know that
it's a perfect fade out. So.